that I wish I could say. I could do nothing to I'm dreaming to tomorrow. There's no I'd rather be here in my dreaming about you. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Ooh, child, when I tell y'all it was a rough it was a rough time last night. A rough, real rough. Yesterday I was telling y'all about and yeah, y'all see we not out in the garden again. Um, we'll be back out there when we get out there. But everything is going fine out there. But let me tell you something. I think we last left off with yesterday that we was gonna go over and see what they had going on with the Amora Lex conversation. Oh my gosh. And the Amora Lex conversation that's going on, for those of you all who don't know, Amora Lex is a young lady. And what I did forget was I forgot to get her age, how old she was. But she is somebody who and I'm gonna just say for the sake of giving us like a age to like dance around with, or who we talking about at this moment. So I'm not sure how old she is, but in my opinion, looking at her, she looked like she could be about between 25 and 28. I'm gonna give it that. No disrespect meant or no none of that. I'm just looking at her, and for the age that she is, I believe she's between like 25, 28 years old. But anyway, she has I don't remember if it's 4 or either 5 kids. She has 4 or either 5 kids. When I tell y'all, I'm talking about it like this because to me, and again, no disrespect, I ain't never been so confusion, if that's even a way to even say it. I ain't never been so confused in my life before, and it feel like they were giving good information and trying to get it, but I just feel like there was definitely a energy of confusion that was there, or something is way off about this whole situation, because it started out with them talking about her taking her 4 children and handing them over to DCF. But through all of the confusion, you find out that the kids are not in DCF. She actually has the kids or some other family members. When I tell you it was so many ups and downs, back and forth and everything, it was almost like you in a moment of like you sitting there and you paying attention to it, and it's almost like your head do like this. Because there was so much going on, and it's like and I'm trying to play catch up because of course I was seeing all of the videos and stuff where they were saying that she gave her this dropped her kid off, all of these different headings and stuff. But I didn't go and click on them. You know how you just be strolling through while you watching something else on YouTube or whatever. So I was strolling through and a lot of people were talking about it. So I was like, I'm gonna go and check it out. And then VS was talking about they were going to do she was doing an interview with Judge Fee. So I was like, well, before they go and do the interview, let me go and do my research and see, what I can find out about the case before then. Because for me, you taking kids and stuff and you turning them over to DCF kind of strike a nerve inside of me. So I went and looked it up and everything, and y'all, I took notes. I took notes this time, and I know I didn't take I couldn't even take notes like in the way that you would let me see. Like you would take notes of every when they going down each thing, because even in the interview, she was there on the interview. And if y'all didn't see the interview, go to Judge Fifi, Judge Fifi with the T, I think it is her name. And sorry if I'm getting it wrong. But go watch the video. I mean, she was there. She was there in the interview. Then she wasn't there. Then she was back again. Then she wasn't there again. Then she came back on the phone. It was a lot going on. But she was over there and she was answering the questions or whatever. But I just feel like there was so much confusion surrounding this situation that it was to a certain point. It's like, you ever been in something where it just made you feel like, no, I can't even deal with this. I gotta leave out here. So yesterday, literally what I was doing when I was trying to find the research, like even the confusion of before the show started, me going to TikTok and looking it up in other interviews that she had done and everything, I just felt like the spirit of confusion was there. And I don't know if it's just me, but it was like my mind couldn't even wrap itself around what it is we talking about or what it is we doing right now, whatever. It's just like it was crazy. And probably because when I be telling y'all that I be talking about certain things, if I'm talking about something and it jogs a memory while I'm talking about it, about something else that done happen, my mind going all the way down those lines, all the way down those lines, all the way down those lines. So then it feels like confusion to me, and I feel like I don't need no confusion, so let me back up out of it. But one of the things, and I'm gonna just go by the notes that I took. So the things that I wrote down, it touched me in a certain kind of way. So I'm gonna just write on with the notes and stuff that I wrote down, and I'm still with so much confusion going on and whatever was happening there. Hopefully my notes make sense. She said a family, and one of the things she said a family member was investigated for SA on one of her kids, and she ended up giving them a second chance, meaning like, okay, at one part of it, and I could be wrong, y'all let me know if I'm wrong, if y'all saw something different. At one point she was talking about, and listen, my mind was so all over the place with the information and stuff that was coming out, I couldn't even grasp. I think she said an uncle or somebody like that. But anyways, I did grasp enough to know that she said a family member had been questioned or looked at as he may have essayed one of the kids or whatever. And then she said that she didn't have a choice at one point but to let the kid go back with the person that these allegations had been made towards. Which for me, y'all know that meant my head was like, that's right here again when she said that part, because y'all know that that's like can be very similar to my story. But I could not believe that there's an opportunity for you to hear that. And as a parent, for me, I don't know about anybody else, if there's an allegation that essay is happening with one of my kids, whether I know it to be true or not, baby, I ain't finna give you a second chance if you still here to possibly do it again. Once it's been put out there, it's hard to make that allegation go away. That's why I don't like when people say things like that and they just saying it like as a joke, like to end, because There is no joke behind that. Once you release it out into the atmosphere and you say that about somebody, it's hard for you to get rid of that, So I don't like when nobody play no games about any of that right there. But giving somebody else that there's a question of whether they essay one of your kids or something like that is far gone for me. Okay, and when she was talking about getting rid of her kids, to me she sounded very, very spiteful. But also too, I want to keep in mind the age that she is. Not on this particular part of it, but a lot of the stuff that she was saying was crazy. But in the part, one of the situations where I saw, she said that she got rid of I blocked my sister them, I blocked my family members, whoever, all the people she was blocking, and she say, and I got rid of them effing kids. And when she said that's another trigger for me, because I also told y'all, like, I done been handed over a baby. Here, get this effing baby. All of those things was just being said over there, was like, can have me lost point blank period once you say certain things, because it's like a trigger of dang, this happened over here in our situation. So and she sounded very spiteful when she was saying it. It's almost like she was saying it to get at somebody. But then you hear her saying this stuff, and that she said she got rid of them kids and she got rid of her family and all of that stuff, only then to find out later she doing the interview and all of her kids is in the background of the interview. She's doing different things for them. You can hear the kids talking and doing all of this different stuff, and they're there. But she's saying that the story is, I took the kids and I got rid of them. But you hearing all these kids in the background, like, well, who kids she got? This girl has her kids with her. They not at DCO. So I don't know. But anyways, when she was saying that, I was like, she was saying it as a person, like maybe she talking to her family, and maybe since they wouldn't agree to get the babies or whatever, that was her way of well, then I'ma just go ahead and give them the DCF, since y'all won't do what I want y'all to do, which kind of sounds like a manipulation tactic to me. So okay, that was one other thing. Okay, earlier today I couldn't explain why I couldn't watch Neek at Night's live. I tried to watch Neek at Night's live too. Y'all go over and try and watch it y'all own self to see what y'all can get up out of it. But oh my God, it was like trying to watch that thing. And then on this show, okay, Neek at Night did an interview with her. I couldn't get through that interview either. I listened to some of her things, but I couldn't listen to a whole bunch of it. I'll tell you what I got from out of there. But also Neek did a interview with because this story went from being about her giving the kids to DCF, only to find out there's so much more to this story than just her taking the kids to drop them off at DCF. A whole lot more. This story ended up being about her one of her kids' fathers. I don't know, he could be the father of two of the kids, I don't know, but I think it's just a little boy that she was with. They were participating in some illicit activity, if you know what that is, the drug life. And he got a hold of something several times where he OD'd before. Well, this time when it happened, he's in a car and he took whatever it was that he took. I don't know. They say this where the confusion comes in, because what they saying is she the one supposed to be done gave him whatever it is or snuck it into him or whatever and took him out. But at the same time that he's supposedly in this car and he expiring, she's writing him text messages and stuff saying about he should no longer exist here on this earth. Um, that I mean, she was saying a whole bunch of things to him, which could happen. But oh my God, what a strange time for it to be happening, for somebody to be saying those kinds of things. And at the time that she's saying those kinds of things to him, or she texting those things to him, she wishing that he no longer here on this earth and all of that stuff right there. Actually, at the time that she's texting those things to him, he is actually in the car, um, basically brain dead. At the time that she's sending all of these messages and everything. So when we get down to that part, then here it is. I'm looking into it a little bit more, and now Neek is interviewing the baby daddy's mother, and when I tell you, okay, y'all, hold on just 1 minute. Okay, when the kiddos call, slight interruption, but we got that taken care of. Um, but okay. So this where we was at. I say earlier today I couldn't explain why I couldn't watch Nika at Night Live. I was feeling like I had too much going on, and only to find out others were feeling the same energy. When I was trying to get you finna go and hear this young lady's story about why she went and dropped her kids off the DCF. I'm interested in it because, honey, I've been fighting DCF. I done fought DCF 150 times. Think it's a joke. I'm literally telling you, 150 times DCF done opened up a case on me before. I'm over here fighting to keep mine. I want to search into this and find out. You say she went and dropped her kids off to DCF. My fight was a little bit different. I'm fighting over here to tell DCF, you ain't taking my kids nowhere. You ain't doing none of that stuff right there. And it never happened before. So now I'm trying to get into what position a person have to be in to be able to go and physically hand over their kid. But when I go to find out why she doing this, I find out is you ain't just gonna get the explanation as to why she dropped her kids off to DCF. And we got to keep in mind too, she says she dropped them off at DCF, but the kids in the background playing. So I'm totally confused at how all you hearing all these kids in the background, but she's still saying I got rid of them kids, I F them kids and all of this stuff. I mean, she was saying a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm like, well, who's allowing her to keep their kids only for her to say, oh, them her kids? Not for her to say, but the other people came onto the panels and stuff like that and said, child, her kids is not at no DCF. It actually has some people that came up that actually knew her, started telling all of her business and everything. So what we were going to find out is like, why did she do it? And I think to myself that there are a lot of reasons. And if you do feel like you should drop your kid off to CPS only because you feel like you're going to do something wrong or you're not feeling yourself at the time, absolutely. I would not harp on anybody. I don't mind nobody taking their kids and handing them over to somebody when they going through something. I done been through some mental things before. And I just know what it's like to be there. So I wouldn't bash nobody for being able to do that. But I was trying to understand. And when I say understand why she would do it, honey, ain't no understanding come. But I still saw her, as a human being. Hey, Savannah. I heard you when I watched the video, but I never really heard them answer your question unless I heard wrong. But That was a great question you had. And listen, Savannah, during the time when I asked the question, she had left, she had got down off the panel. She got down off the panel. So I wanted to go ahead and ask my question that I was going to ask. And not only that, and there was questions that I had because y'all know that I've raised kids from other family members and everything. And I know that those kids, it don't matter what you do, you can give them the greatest, the least, or whatever. Give them every single thing that they need, everything that they want. And for whatever reason, no matter what you do, you can never, that's why I always say, you can never take the place. And these parents be out here thinking that because you're the one raising their kids and all of that stuff, they think you can take their place. When you cannot take their place. I'm telling you, I've done it more than 2 times. More than 2 times. If you think you're replacing any of these kids that you're raising that you didn't give birth to, if you think you're replacing their parents and stuff for them, it's not true. Because these kids actually turn around, they long for it. It's like I've been connected to this person's body for 9 months before I even entered into this world. So there's a connection that's going on with mama right from the beginning on the inside. And then you trying to, some kind of way, trying to say that just went away. And no, even in my grandbaby's eyes, when I take her somewhere, yes, I'm called mom and I do all of those things or whatever with her and everything. I can see, like, when we go somewhere and she sees the interaction between a mother and a daughter, like in a doctor's office or something like that, she looking at them as like she's longing for that. And it took me a long time to come to the conclusion that it don't matter what you do for them, what you provide for them and everything, you cannot replace who actual mama and daddy is. So I went ahead and dropped the question up there and hoping that she would come back later and maybe answer that question. But the one thing that I know is that none of my kids had their parents showed with their action. They didn't never come and see them. They never came and checked on them. They probably call once every 3 years or something like that right there, or something like that. Something like that. But never the words spoken. F them kids. I don't want them kids. And see, for a kid, for you to disconnect from a friend, because that's what I used to say about my kids' parents. The parents are disconnected. You have to be disconnected for you not to call, check, or come through and see about your kids or something. You have to have some sort of disconnection. So I used to try and explain to my kids, because they would ask questions and stuff, and I'm the one to explain it to them. There's a disconnect that happens, and it's kind of like, if you if you want $1 million and you're asking me for it and I don't have it to give to you. So it's kind of like the kids be expecting or wanting something from their parents that their parents don't have to give them, or they're not willing to give it to them. And for whatever reason, the fight on the inside of them keep going after that over and over again. But now what she has done, what she is saying this, whether it's a game or whatever it is that she doing, obviously it's got to be a game, because she's still in this video after she done did, at what I seen, she done did 3. This possibly was like the 4th interview that she done did was yesterday, right? So in all of these interviews and stuff, she is maintaining that she gave the kids to DCF or CPS, whatever y'all call it. She maintaining in there that she gave them away, only to find out 2 ladies come up on the panel yesterday and they saying, no, the kids are not, and there was a bunch of confusion about that. As first, it's like, what are we saying here? What is happening here? Only to find out it's like, The kids is not at DCF. She got them kids right there in the house. It's like, what? What you mean she got the kids? Like, the kids are right there in the living room running around right there by her. But we still getting the story that I'm even thinking it came out yesterday that she has a twin, a identical twin. I'm also thinking that what it was a story being set up so that later on, then she's like, "Oh, that wasn't none of me saying that. That was my twin sister that did that." You know, I all kinds of stuff started running through my mind. But y'all, let me stick with my story because when I'm starting to talk about it, I sound confused. So yesterday I was like, I'm gonna hit the live button and I'm gonna talk about it tonight. Man, please. After hearing that, it's like everything that I kept hearing, it was like pause. It was stopping me from cleaning up and stuff at certain things that I heard. I was just like, this is unbelievable. And it seemed like more unbelievable things that I heard. It got more what do you call it? It's like more confusion kept being introduced to it. Hey, Miss Coffee, how you doing today? It's like more confusion got thrown up in the midst of it, and it trying to deal with that story was almost like going back and saying I want my mental stuff that I was going through in my head, and I was like, nah, no, 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 I cannot keep watching it. So every interview that I watched, the only one I watched almost all the way through was the one on Judge Fee yesterday. All of those other interviews, I could not get through every one of it. This case has, is it a case or whatever? This situation, this story has the spirit of confusion written all over it. And I don't know what it is because they are making complete statements, complete this and complete that. But we came on to find out about these kids, and all of a sudden we in a situation where this man has lost his life and they saying she got something to do with it. Now it's this whole big old argument and whatever. And she was saying some really mean, nasty things in the midst of all of this different stuff. So it's like kind of like, dang, do you say that? But I have seen kids be very irresponsible, especially around her age group. If I'm saying her, if I got her age group right, between the age of 25 and 28. I've been around people that's that age and they're reckless with the words that they say because to them, they don't necessarily have no meaning to them. So there is one part when I heard her telling about she was saying all of that stuff to him that I actually, on that part of when she was talking about it, like I felt a little connect with her on that, in that way where I feel it was almost like she was talking about that part of, like she was confident. I didn't do anything to take his life. So I'm at peace with them saying whatever it is that they want to say because I know I didn't do that part right there. And then she was also saying a part about when he was at the hospital and he was getting ready to take his last breath, that the mama of them was at the hair salon getting their hair done and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm telling you, it was a whole lot. But let me get back to my notes before I be lost in the sauce once again. Let me read what I see in the chat. Okay. Answer your question unless I heard wrong. Yeah, Savannah, I don't think they ever answered it because there was a whole lot of stuff going on in between, right? When I first went up there, she got off the panel. She was having a whole bunch of issues and stuff with her being there. And they were saying she was saying it was raining there, and the people that live in the same area where they came on camera and they started showing the skies outside and say she lying, you know, that she running away or whatever. But no, she can't. She kept coming back up, talking on the phone through whatever, you know. So no, they never did answer that, but I don't think she can answer that. My thing is you've released that out into the atmosphere. Nobody don't have to tell your kids that you don't want them or you don't love them, because she can never unring those words that she spoke. And on the days that her kids feeling the lowest of the low and they questioning in their mind, do she care about them? They can actually go to the internet and they can hear her saying everything that she said that would say to them, yeah, she does not care about me. But then I can also go back and say it's very sad because she doesn't see anything wrong with that because she dealing with abandonment issues herself. This girl living in a whole generational curse itself. Whole generational curse. Um, I kind of at one point I connected with her because um and not that she but somebody was telling the story of that her mom gave her away so she was adopted. Y'all know that's part of my mom's story and how I can give a little bit of grace to understand that you standing and you watching your real mom raise three other children, but you gave me and my older sister away, and we on the outside looking in, and we ain't supposed to feel no way about that. So for her, it's like it's easy to come along and repeat the same thing, and she can look heartless in the situation, but you know, and I think also her age too does, you know, what it's a saying that they got age is a clarifying area of wisdom or something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I really don't. But it's just like I feel like some things was able to roll off of her tongue and she was able to say them as easily as she said it because she's been in that position before and she feel like that. But all of along, you know, I'm just saying whether she was real or not with what she was saying about F them kids or I dropped them off, I don't want them kids or no nothing. On any given day, your kids can be going through something, and now those words are out on the internet. How do you then comfort your kids? How do you then tell them, I actually love you, but the whole world can hear you say, F them kids. I don't want them. I dropped them off to CPS. Um, my advice is, honey, go get a professional and find out some information that you're gonna need to be able to counteract what happened with those kids because I suspect that they're gonna feel a lot of what you feel. Then a whole bunch. See, I looked at it. I'm thinking, okay, she may be giving the kids the DCF so she won't hurt them no nothing. Then right when I'm thinking one way that is going, Chinese people go and pull up pictures and stuff and saying the baby got cigarette burns all over him, all over him. So then I'm like, what? I thought she took them to DCF so like she won't do any harm to them or and she want to get herself back on. And then they also said she said all of that, but then after she made that post and everything, dropped the kids off the DCF, she went to the club and was twerking her ass in the club. um but then now we gotta go back to if they saying that she was in the club twerking after she gave the kids away, but we can hear the kids in the house with her. Y'all hear all this confusion that I'm talking about. They saying she at the club shaking her ass in the club after she done gave the kids to the like, but we hear the kids running around in the house with her. And so she said, I guess she in a situation. I ain't never knew that part. That because honey, if I knew DCF to work that way like that, I probably would allow them to babysit my kids a couple of times. No, I'm just lying, y'all. But the way she got it set up, and you looking at it as like, well, dang, what is they your babysitter or something? She can go and take them to him, drop them off to him, pick them back up, and spend some time with them whenever she wants to, and then go and give them back to her. It's like, I don't know about that girl. Yeah, she left there several times. I said that's Shauna. Oh, so you see me, Miss Coffee. I think she should make less time for the rap/music career. That's another thing right there, Savannah. She was saying that part about she said she was in school. In one interview, I heard her say she was in nursing school and everything. I never heard her say anything about music. Then I go on to another one and I'm like, honey child, let me tell you something. When you be saying all of these things and you go on different interviews and everything, and your story can't stay straight, honey child, these people are going to eat apples and bananas. No, I'm just joking. These people gonna eat you up for not being consistent in your story. And I can honestly say too, Rather, I done seen people who are consistent in their story and they telling the truth about their situation, and they still, people are still not kind to it. But to come on and your story keep changing in the way that it changes is, yeah, she gotta, and just to hear her, the way she responds to everything, it's like she's emotionless, like, almost like she talked as if, I don't know if she done talked about it so many times that she don't feel nothing or whatever, but it's almost like she just like she a computer or something whenever she talks. But yeah, but she do, and I don't need, at this moment right now, I don't think it's good for her to go into the medical field right now, because I think that nobody would let her be at peace working in the medical field, because these people just gonna keep on calling up and saying different things and everything. And so, and then at one point they were saying like the baby had diaper rash so bad it was like he had like areas of. Listen, I thought I did bad one time because I thought something was going wrong, only to find out I thought it was a diaper rash, and it was not a diaper rash. My baby was actually having an allergic reaction to Huggies diapers, and the way that they were saying is like it's like where the rim of the diaper is, and it was just like in the area where like the diaper touched the baby, where they have like the little gathered up area to like close around the leg or whatever. It is like just in that area right there, it was like irritated real bad in that area, and so I took him to the doctor about it. And they gave some cream or something, but they were actually allergic to it. But there is, okay, so when they was telling about that part, oh, okay, then this looked like diaper rash. Maybe he had the diaper on for long. I also know that they can be allergic to the diaper and still get that same look to it right there. But oh, then as soon as I wanted to give her the grace of that, because I'm still trying to figure out to give her a little bit of grace in this situation, child, they fell out the closet and started saying that the report came through that the baby had cigarette burns on him. Not only just cigarette burns, but he had different stages of cigarette burns. Like he had cigarette burns that was there and then they healed up, but they was at various different stages or whatever. And I'm like, and in my mind, as people be telling these stories and stuff, I'm trying to imagine somebody sitting around and literally taking a cigarette and sticking it to a kid. Do you understand how heartless you gotta be able to just sit there? Nothing this kid, like they not triggering you or anything like this. Just like you can just randomly sit around, and the mere fact that you can do it one time and you can see the reaction that comes off of the kid, and you're able to, y'all know that parents cry when kids cry, right? And I'm gonna just explain it the way that I know it. There's kids, sometimes my kids, they can be like in the room or something, and they can be like whining, and you be like, child, what's wrong with you? They be like, oh, this. You don't even pay that no mind, because you know that's just like a little whine or whatever, like, come here, let me see what happened to you, whatever, right? But then there's this other cry that they do when if you sit down to a desk, a table, or whatever, you can guarantee the chair gonna make a loud noise of you getting up, because you know that cry is an urgent cry. I can only imagine that if you sticking a cigarette to a baby, can you imagine the cry that's gonna come out when you stick that cigarette to that baby? And I can say that I guarantee you, just to show us cigarettes exist, kids have been burnt by cigarettes of people who thinking that it's, let me smoke this cigarette while I'm holding this baby, and the baby done end up grabbing it or getting touched by it, and it's been an accident. But imagine the scream that comes out when they burnt by the cigarette in its own accident. And the adult can just casually sit there and keep sticking a cigarette to a kid's legs, bottom, yeah, is absolutely crazy. Um, to bring right, she can stick with the nursing and also trying to bring her family back together for the children's sake. Music career is for her off time. Children are full time. I just did for me. The way I imagine when she went, the distress that she was saying she was in when she went to DCF, the way she was crying to the CPS worker and all of that stuff when she got there. In my opinion, when you're in a place like that right there, um, and you're gonna leave your kids there with them, and you telling them you're gonna come back to them. And I can speak. I'm gonna speak for myself. If I was in that situation and I needed some relief, when I do get the help, when they're there, which is the way that I saw that that's what she was gonna do and stuff till all of the twerking stuff came to. I felt like in those times, because I done been weighted down like that before. All I want to do is I want to curl up in my bed and cover my head up and get me some rest. In the distress, thinking as a parent in distress, and you really need somebody to just come and save you from them kids just for a little while, right? I don't see, I'm so distressed for this, but I'm finna go to the club and shake my ass. I don't see that. I see when you get to those kinds of places, like I just need to be somewhere. I need to put the covers over my head and I just need to lay here and get me some peace of mind. But then again, that's me. And I'm figuring if you're that stressed out and you going to two schools at one time, then baby, you probably need to do what is in best interest of your kids and probably let one of them go. Especially when you're dealing with, she has, what is it, four or either five little small kids or whatever. So like do what is best for you. And if you feel like you got too much on your plate, sometimes you need to scoot some to the side and handle the things that you can handle. Don't put too many things on your plate at one time, you know. um Good morning, Angels Fire. I couldn't use Huggies, only Pampers brand. Miss Coffee, that's the same thing. That's the same thing that I could too. And my first kids couldn't even well, my first baby that I had, I believe that he was allergic to baby wipes. So I stopped using baby wipes, and you know those little packs of rags that come, and I think it's like it'd be like 8 in the pack or whatever, but it come in the little plastic things. When I used to go out to the doctors and stuff, I never bought baby wipes. I used to take me those little rags and keep them in the little plastic thing and stick them down into the baby bag, and I kept a bottle of Johnson and Johnson's body baby wash. And sometimes I used to take a bottle. I'd take my Dove and I had it in Ziploc bag. And whenever my baby diaper needed to be changed, I'll go to the sink and run some hot water on the rag and then put some soap on there. And then I clean my baby butt with a wash rag, and then I put it into a Ziploc bag and just go home and rewash them. That's another way to save on from buying baby wipes. Get you a whole bunch of little baby rags and use the baby rags to clean the baby, bottom. It just like look like the little diapers or whatever. I don't know who that tip for, but I ain't having no baby, so it ain't for me. That's for somebody here in this chat that's ready to have them some more kids. You ain't gotta buy baby wipes. You can use soap and water. It works just as well. Um, yeah. So yeah, Savannah, the cigarette burns that was heartbreaking to know that somebody had the nerve, and I say that somebody had the nerve to do it. It was documented into the paperwork. I didn't physically see the paperwork, but there was enough people up there confirming that it is there in the paperwork. Some cigarette burns had healed, some had not. But that was a disturbing piece of information that throw you all off again. Right, I'm not looking to party. I'm depressed, not talk. And usually when you are depressed, then you ain't in the mood to be doing no whole bunch of talking with nobody, no nothing. You kind of want to be alone in that place. It's just, but depressed and then you go to the club, then that wasn't working for me. So and then listen, I don't know who all done dealt with food stamps and all of that stuff before. And she kept saying the part about not, cause see that there was some place, cause see some place I can be in there with her and kind of like make sense of what she was saying. But honey, it was other things that I was like, honey, child, them folks ain't got no time. If you ever deal with them people at the food stamp office and know none of that kind of stuff right there, them people ain't got time to be turning your shit off on, turning back on the next day and all that. Hell, you can't barely get nobody on the phone and you talking about they keep switching your stuff off and on, and you had this amount of jobs and you had that amount of jobs. And the jobs that she was saying that she had didn't make no sense to me as why she still did not have those jobs. When she said, now when she got to that part right there, I call capital BS. B as in boy, S as in SHIT. I call BS on that whole situation right there by her losing the jobs or whatever because they kept switching the thing off and on. Honey, child, them people at DCF ain't got no time to be doing none of that unless it's already showing in the thing that you don't got no job or no none of that kind of stuff. So anywho, yeah, I couldn't believe that part of the story. um Okay, but if you can have fun like that, then you can build the bridge back for your family. You absolutely can if you out there doing all that. Yes, she has a right to smile, like she said, but it seems like she dropped them off so she could do all of the things she liked to without them. And that's just the whole thing. Listen to the confusion of that all, Savannah. We saying she dropped them off so she can go and do whatever it is you want to, only for us to find out the kids never did stay at DCF. I mean, it's so much confusion in this story. It was crazy. I literally, when Miss Coffee said yesterday, come back and do a little bit of commentary on it today, Shauna. The first thing I seen about it, Miss Coffee, I'm telling you, my head was over here exploding. So I couldn't. I said, I'm not touching this today because I'm so confused right now. I mean, so much confusion kept coming up in it. And if one thing that I hate is I hate confusion with a passion. I hate it. And so everything that I was watching, all I could feel inside of me, confusion, confusion, confusion. It is like everything that you thought was not what you thought, and everything you thought didn't happen was happening. I only to find out, it's like the grandmama, even with the grandma them and stuff, it's like the grandma them trying to say that they feel this way about the grandkids and everything, only to find out she got a whole nother grandkid that she can have a relationship with, and she paying that little person no attention at all. I don't know. It was just so many ups and downs and battles in this here story. But let me see what else I had wrote down. Right, I could identify with some things, but other things I was like, and when VS said, where is the money coming from for all of the schooling? I said, that's true. How are you getting all of that tuition? And then she was saying she was a felon. Yeah, she was going to school at 2 days. Yeah, it was some things that she was saying, and it just the stuff was not adding up with a lot of the things she was saying. But I began to notice that the same feeling that I was feeling of confusion, I felt like everybody was feeling that sense of confusion by the time this girl got through. Okay, she said this another part. This is another part. Lord Jesus. I just even thinking about the confusion of it all make me feel confused. And that's why I was just like, let me just write down whatever it is when it hit me, because I can't stick with this here story. So then I got to this part. It said, and I don't know which one I was watching. I think I was watching Neek at Night when she was interviewing her with this one right here. Because remember, I'm going back to find out, about this story, what had happened. So I wrote down, it says, Lex said said she was raped by her kid's dad, right? In all videos. And then we find out she was engaged to him. In the first videos that she was doing, she never said that, which is, there is confusion for me in that, but then there's not confusion in it, because sometimes things can sound strange to other people. It's like a person coming to tell you that about working in a fast food restaurant, and you ain't never worked in there, so you don't know what it's like. But if you've walked a day in those people's shoes, you can actually understand exactly what it is that they're talking about. So then when we get to this part right here, where a lot of people may not have understood her, but I can also understand why they wouldn't accept what she was saying, because it makes it seem like, girl, you just made that up out the clear blue sky, right? So again, I said, Lex said she was raped by her kid's father in all videos, and she never said anything, anything. And then what fell out the sky was she was engaged to him, finna marry him. So then I had to pause and I had to think about that, because, and then she started saying something about Stockholm syndrome. And I had to stop and I had to think about that. But she's saying it just so matter of fact, or just out there. I've been in a situation before. I've been in a whole bunch of situations, and y'all know a lot of the stories, right? So imagine if you're being touched on from age 5 on up. Then you get to age 13, somebody grapes you. And because you've been being touched on and all of these different things that have been happening before, your little body does not understand. You just understand this been happening to me forever. So that situation happened to me, is where I'm there. I tell y'all about this situation where this one night that my auntie came and she drops this guy off at her house, and for whatever reason she haul ass and leave, and I'm left there with him. And while I'm there, he does what he does, and it was traumatic because I was on the last day of my ministration. He took the pad off and everything, and not to get into that, but I'm trying to explain to you all that do not understand that he raped me the first time, but some kind of way, something in it, because of everything I guess else that happened, and this ain't something that I done ventured out a whole lot. It's there. I guess what I did was I took it, and everything else been okay with all the other seven that did it to me when since I've been coming up. And now this is one more person that came along, and then when it was like he didn't hate me, which is a crazy way to be looking at it, I'm feeling like he should hate me because I was fighting him while he was trying to do whatever it was. But in all actual, like, my sense of thought was warped because of all of the things that had happened to me. I ended up actually having a relationship with him and had a baby from him. So I can, if that makes sense to you all, me explaining that part, is like I can kind of connect with her on that part, but it's like she said that the whole time, and maybe that's not a part of the story that she wanted to share. So that part of it, like, I ain't want to touch on it too much because I don't want to say that she not telling the truth about that part, because I know, like, some parts of your story you ready to tell about it, but the other parts you ain't ready to tell about it. Imagine somebody did that to you, and you already feel stupid yourself, that, and I'm gonna just use the words that came to my mind, this nigga done did X, Y, and Z to me, and here I am. Um, and I'm telling y'all about literally words that I said to myself every time I know that and I'm trying to be careful with my words because not like I just laid there and allowed it to happen, like I'm fighting for it to happen. But it's like after you don't fought for so long, it's some things you just throw your hands up about because like you don't have no control of it, in which I didn't have no control because everybody's older than me, bigger than me, and everything. Imagine you're in the seventh grade and this the person that's taking advantage of you, they're in high school. So there's nothing really that I can do, but it still does not take away that when you come to those solutions and you go back and you think about what they did to you and you actually ended up in a relationship with them, you had a kid from them and everything. To me, that's like to have that on the inside of that is embarrassing. It's embarrassing in its own self. So that part of it I can kind of understand. Why the hell would I want to tell somebody that I was married? I was getting ready to marry the person who violated me in that way. So I don't know which way to go with that. I can just say that I've been in that situation before and I know what it feels like. I know somebody else who's been in that situation before. And I know what it does to you as a person that you start to beat up on yourself because you made the decisions that you made. So um let me see, let me go back. Yes was there. Is the money coming from all the schooling? Okay, then we did that one. Someone had asked, "Where's the dog?" Somebody asked, "Where's the dog at?" That where's now that one? That part of the story right there was funny as hell. She said she had $1,300 worth of food in her house that went bad. Well, then everybody ain't Miss Shauna no nothing, but honey, child, let me tell you something. When Hurricane Charlie came through, I had a deep freezer, upright deep freezer. That deep freezer had about $500 worth of meat inside of it at the time. Mind you, we had pigs and stuff back then, and we had them been to the slaughter and had them in the freezer. When Hurricane Charlie came around, honey, call me ancient mammy. Cause your girl was out there as that meat was thawing out, girl. Child, we done pulled out all our fryers out on the driveway, the grills and everything. None of that shit wasn't going bad. We gonna cook. We gonna cook this stuff up. We gonna wash it down. We gonna cook, and we gonna feed the whole neighborhood with it. But I'll be damned if all this meat and stuff finna go bad. And that's exactly what we did. We fired up our grills and stuff. Everybody ain't have all of the things that we had. There's a lot of things that we didn't have that everybody else had, but there's a lot of things that we had that didn't nobody else have, honey. And we was down there cooking food and stuff on our driveway, fixing people plate that was hungry, because ain't nobody had no power and stuff. But she said the dog ate $500 of her grocery. Girl, what you did? Put up under the? Did you put snacks and stuff up under the cabinet where the dog can reach it? He was biting through canned goods. I don't know. Was he a real tall dog? He can get up on the counter. He can cook him hamburgers and stuff like that. Shit, I don't know. I don't know, but do I believe that the dog ate 500? Girl, you lying right there, and I'm willing to say you lying when it come down to that part. Amora Lex, you lying. That dog ain't ate no $500 worth of groceries. And if he ate $500 worth of groceries, then you must not have been feeding that dog at all. Which means too, if you can't feed the dog, why you got him? I just don't never understand people go and get dogs and stuff and then they starve them to death. For what? And I don't understand how you can walk around and keep looking at the dog and knowing you ain't fed him. He whining and listen, our dogs every night it's like alarms. Well, we only got one left now because Chi Chi did eventually end up passing away. So but our other dog took up everything that Chi Chi do. Anytime I start cooking in the kitchen, Chi Chi's like just making that noise. I'll be like, Chi Chi, if you don't shut up that noise. Anytime there's cooking going on in the house. The dogs start whining. Are they hungry? Are they starving? No, they keep dog food in their bowls and water and everything. I just don't understand how you can walk past a living thing and no, I can't walk past a fish tank and knowing that the fish in there hungry. Let alone you saying your dog ate $500 worth of groceries. Girl, you lying when it comes to that one right there. So we gonna say the lie detector said that was a lie. And VS said, well, you see what she did with the children, the dog at the pound. I had to laugh. Child, she didn't say nothing about that dog was at the pound, but and we found out later that it was a lie that she had dropped them kids off the CPS. So I don't know. Unfortunately, that happens, and I think. But do you, Savannah? Do you think that dog ate $500 worth of food? That's a lie. Like even if the hungriest of the dog, you can have one. I call them horse dogs. You know them big old tall dogs because some of our neighbors got them real dog. I call them horse dogs. Some of them they got dogs that are taller than the owner. I don't even think that dog can eat $500 worth of food in one day. So what kind of dog she had? And if the dog bigger than the children, you should have got rid of him first. I don't know. Um, Unfortunately, that happens a lot. And yes, I know I've had Stockholm syndrome in probably all of my relationships. It's very common. It seems it in other people's situations too. Yeah, so with that one right there, even I had went on somebody else's panel and I had spoke about it. Even though I don't too much care for the person who they was talking about, but in those situations, I always try and like stand up and say because they was talking about Hassan Campbell. I don't like the way he moved. To me, he don't move like no real man that move or whatever. Because no real man ain't around here just started trying to start stuff just for the hell of it. Like it's the craziest thing ever. So no, I'm not in agreement with him. But the question was on the panel is that the talk was that Hassan Campbell was supposedly raped by what is it, African Bambata? He was supposedly raped by him, and later he turned around and went back to work for African Bambata, if I got the story corrected. But the conversation was going into that, and so whenever I hear that right there, it's like, okay, I'm with you on this part of the conversation, but then when it come down to this, only because I've experienced before, I don't want to say nothing in those areas, but I do want to say that it actually can happen because some people, especially that ain't lived through none of this stuff like this before, it can be very questionable. Well, why would you want to do X, Y, and Z, or why would you want to do that right there and they did this to you? If you've been raised up with it, it's almost like that's a normal thing to happen to you. And I just wanted to be known. I was not defending Hassan Campbell by no means. And actually, in his situation, I think there's a certain point that you grow up. But remember, I'm also one of the guy that kidnapped me came to my mom's funeral. He gave me a hug that I received from him, but I didn't have the strength to not accept it at the time. But I believe that at the time, Hassan Campbell went back to be a security guard for African Bambaataa. That at that point, you should have been manly enough to know, unless, like, because I said there can be them dark times that you be in. Because, see, at those times, people can be thinking he went back there and he was being a security guard. And I'm telling you, the way your mind works when you're in those dark areas and stuff in your life, I can also imagine that Hassan Campbell probably was doing something along the lines. How do I know? Because I've been there before. Hassan Campbell could have been like, well, he did this X, Y, and Z to me back then. So now I got a way of like I can set him up. I've been in my mind before where I want to set the person up that did X, Y, and Z to me, only to be able to talk myself out of it. So I don't know what his intentions was or when he was doing that or whatever, but I can't see today that I would make a decision to actually be around a person that not making a conscious decision to be around a person that brought me any kind of harm. in that way. So, but that's how I lost my virginity to my child's father. Savannah, I was worried. I made him upset, and he wasn't going to see me anymore because I was fighting against it until I just cried until he finished. Ooh, Savannah, when I tell you, girl, you got your story is like I can remember the pulling hair and the pulling of the hair and everything, and it was just useless. It didn't even make any sense because after a while you're fighting and you know your fighting ain't getting you nowhere. You just submit to the process and you go into another world somewhere. And I can remember it being a hot summer day that it happened. And for whatever reason, my mom and them came home like maybe 2 hours after. And nobody, I can remember right now, is this sitting on the recliner with a blanket. And we did not have central air and heat. It was hot as hell in the house. I was sitting up under the ceiling fan with a blanket covering me from my neck up all the way up to my neck. It was like I was hiding from something. And nobody thought to walk inside of the house and I'm sitting there with this big old cover on me, hot as it is. And nobody is like, girl, why you up under that hot behind cover? And let alone not being able to tell somebody that that's what happened to you. So, um, yep. But I still loved him. Savannah girl, stop. Shut your mouth and keep on talking. Yeah, absolutely. And I often wonder that now that I'm in the place I'm ready to tell the story. Um, Sometimes I still don't be ready to talk about it. And at this moment in my life, I really don't care about how anybody feel. The only person that I make sure and I cover is I make sure I'm gonna go to my son and tell him only because I know I owe him that he doesn't get a surprise because I'm going through my healing process. He's old enough, he understands or whatever, but my story is my story or whatever. And, you know, I could have done it spitefully, when my son was a lot younger or whatever. Nope. I waited until he got way past the age of 30, to let him know, now that I'm here and I'm talking about it publicly, it would be crazy for me to be talking about it on here and then he find out with you all here on YouTube. Absolutely, I'm not doing that. So, as I feel more comfortable about talking about it, I'm going to touch on it more and more in these ways. But, we are the only ones that can teach people what it's really like to be out there because these other people haven't walked in it. And it seems like the craziest thing to think that that can happen to you and you went back with him, girl, you lying. That didn't happen. No, it absolutely can happen that way. And in some warped sense, you can turn it around and make everything be it's your fault. You take all accountability for what happened. Yeah. There are some crazy things went on in our family. There was one situation that in our family where actually one of us was strong enough to go and tell that somebody was touching on them at this point. And one of the adults took her to the person that that she was saying had touched her. Not to take her to them for her to say it, but actually when she got there, they took her there to apologize for telling. I can't even. This is the craziest thing. So you go and tell an adult that something just happened to you, and the adults get so mad that you just said that to them that they take you, even though the person doesn't even know that you done went and told it, they take you over to their house to apologize to them for saying that you just essayed them. But because you don't believe the child, you take them to make them go and apologize to the person who actually did assault you. When I tell you it's some things that's going on, and when you don't know, you just don't know. And it's okay for you to think that way in your mind, but if you really want to know, ask some questions about it to somebody who done been through that. Because I know people who ain't never been through great or essay or none of that stuff like that. Then you could make a quick decision and think that those things don't really happen, but they actually do. They actually do. Um, and then you can still love them all at the same time. Still love them. Um, I think her name is Charlie. She said she probably sold the stamps, and that's probably true. Yes, and I said, how do you have a dog but you're already struggling? Let me tell you something. if you getting if you getting $1,400 in food stamps and you struggling at all, something is not right. And let me tell you something else that I heard her say too. I said, let me tell you something. If she don't know nothing else, she sure know how to be the food stamp queen or whatever it is. Because let me tell you something. Somebody asked her, say, and she must have been getting Section 8 or housing or something like that. I don't know. I ain't ever been fortunate enough to get none of those things like that. But honey, somebody said to her, when he passed away, when Alex passed away, they said he was living with you. Honey, she gave the sweetest answer. She gave the sweetest answer. She said, they ain't finna mess up my shit. Listen, that girl answered. She answered that thing like a pro. She say, "Honey, Ain't nobody ever been on my lease. Not she ain't say ain't nobody never lived with me. She say, honey, ain't nobody ever been on my lease. Honey, you know how I go when you doing with that Section 8 thing. You know that them folks find out you got a man living up in there, honey. You is through dealing." So she said that with the quickness. So she might be getting Section 8 or something right about now, whatever. Um, but she said, ain't no man ever been on my lease before, or whatever. But just because a man ain't on your lease don't mean he ain't living up in your house. We all know how that go, baby girl. But anyways, keep on protecting your Section 8. Keep on. uh Child, I done seen a couple of people go and get a dog or something. They already struggling. It don't make no sense. No, I don't. I don't have no idea what she did with those stamps. Yeah, you got $1,400 worth of food stamps. Man, please, I can make it do what it do with them type of food stamps right there, honey child. Not only can I feed my household, I can load probably three houses up with groceries for $1,400, honey, if you know how to shop right. But struggling, ain't got no food, stuff like what, honey, please. Mm-mm. The cash came in handy. Ooh. Sometimes you don't have any other options, also except for to reach out to a stranger. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Yes, it depends on what you can handle, tolerate, or moves you can make until you can make other moves. And sometimes they like it when you're fighting them while they come at you because it turns them on more. It's so many different variables when it comes to the way they move. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Shut my mouth and keep on talking. That's right. Definitely I ain't gonna tell you to shut up. No, shut your mouth, girl, and keep on talking. Yes, I was always trying to make things work in every situation. And then the crazy part is people who this thing usually happens to. You have the sweetest of soul. You have so much love to pour out on, and you will, whether they giving it back to you or not. It's like you willing to pour all of the love into you, hoping that they pour it back into you. Because I can go back to every situation, and I can say to you, whether it was real love or not, at the moment in the time that I was living in, I was truly in love, head over heels. I felt like I was just looking for love in whatever way that I thought it was love. But whoever I was with, I was always head over heels. Like, I love you. But it was like, also, it's like something like, child, I just want you because I know everybody else done violated you or something. I can smell it all over you. So I just came along to do the same thing too. They actually don't have no connection. And to find out, and later some of my process that I went through, because it was a point that I started to get real vicious, one time, because not only with one of my situations, um I was with he raped me. I stayed with him for a little while. I ended up getting pregnant from him. He moved away with another girl, but still was trying to like talk back and forth to me while he was away with her. Then he came back in, and then I didn't bother with him forever and a day. And then all of a sudden, one night we in the club again together, and we end up back with him. But anyways, I ended up messing back with him again, and then I started doing a whole bunch of like, he started trying to use me in like situations, and then it just came to a point where like, give me one time, you won't get me again. And so the 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 next time that it came around, child, he wanted protection. He wanted me to help protect him from a situation that he was already in. And honey, I came in and I poured extra sauce. I poured extra sauce onto the situation, and watch it all. Whatever happened, happened. It's like, okay. And so it is what it is. But one of these days, I'm gonna tell about it. And if I forget about it, y'all ask about it one time. Like, what did I do to him? Because yeah, I had an amazing day on that day. I said goodbye on that day. But yes, I always trying to make things work in every situation. I try not to as much now, but that's how I am. So it's difficult. And you know what, Savannah, for you to even call that out, for you to be able to call that part out right there, it's going to get better. It's not going to continue to be difficult, because all of the things that you've already learned, you've been in class for a long time going through the things that you go through. And you've been in class, and all you have to do is pay attention to all of the things that happened before, and everything that speaks to you, that it shows up familiar, deny it. Go the opposite way. Don't do the same thing that you've been doing. Every time you get into a situation, if you just change this much of it, you don't have to completely change the whole thing. Say the last time when he showed up, and we just using a scenario right now, right? So say the first time this guy showed up, you may have gave him a kiss this time, and then y'all hung out for the rest of the time, right? Did all of this extra stuff and everything. If the next time you run into him, the only thing that you change is not giving him the kiss because you know you don't want it, you've changed something in the situation. And as long as you can see you're changing something a little bit at a time, that's all you got to stay focused on, because that's taking it step by step, little bit by little bit, and doing what you can do with it at that moment. Trying to make yourself be this big girl in this situation that you've been going through your whole freaking life, and you ain't know what to do with it at this point, will only make your head want to explode even more. So as long as you're doing one little tiny thing different, it will not stay as difficult as it is right now. It won't stay. It can't. It has to change. Yep. I feel like it's all lies looking for a moment. Yeah, and Miss Coffee, that's the confusion of it. It's like she'll say things, like even VS and was saying yesterday, like there are some things that she can say and you can get a connection there. But all the other parts of the interviews and stuff, it's such a disconnect where it all just seemed like Man, please, we done been bamboozled. I almost feel like at a certain part of it, it's like she did this thing because it was a money grab. That's what I ultimately ended up feeling like. But I had to speak on like these little points and stuff that was there because we know in actuality that those things really be happening for real. So, but yeah, I feel like there's like the disconnect parts of it. I'm just like lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. But yeah, and if they got one lie mixed up in there, then Jesus Christ, then you already know that one lie can destroy the whole situation. Just left Florida. I can literally still see the Florida sign. Ah, see you later, Alicia. Child. Yeah, leaving the state of Florida. I'll leave the heat behind. I hope you had a good time while you was here. um, and cash apps for what to do. What your children going to hit the pole. Okay. And I don't think she got no cash apps last night because I don't think the people were. I don't think the people were having it. I don't think the people was having it. But yeah, she didn't tell us that she was about to be engaged to this guy, and I just want to say like I felt like she was lying in that part, but I also want to come and say that I definitely know that those things can happen. So I always want to speak up in that part. Then it came out, yeah. Then it came out that the baby had the cigarette. We talked about the cigarettes burned. She has 4 kids in her custody now. I'm telling you, as I'm finding out this stuff, I'm like, I'm walking back and forth in here, and I'm like, this girl got the kids there with her after all these stories that I done went through. I'm like, ugh. Then they also had a part where they said her baby was eating his own feces. Right now at this point, I'm just running off to y'all the things that I was writing down. This another one that I wrote down. I say it pissed me off to find out the kids were removed because of cigarette burns and returned. And CPS wanted to take my kids based off of the way I answered a question. You talking about two different agencies in two different places. But you imagine somebody approached me and asked me that if she asking me a hypothetical question out of one of those times I told y'all CPS visited me. They opened 150 cases on me, right? And none of them, my kids were never removed. No time. They was opened and closed as fast as they was coming, right? To know here I am, I'm a mama that having kids, giving birth to my kids, me and my husband raising our kids together. And you come and present me with a question about one of my kids having cancer, which now one of them don't have no cancer. But you're gonna confront me with a question like that, and because I answer the question the way I want to answer, you say, well, she starts stumping off to her car saying she finna take my kids. So I already told y'all that me and the police officer at a standoff, and I'm like, you child, you think you finna take my kids up out of here, and you the only police officer here, honey, you better call your army up in here. But it pissed me off so bad to know that here you actually have a parent or whoever. I don't even know if it's her, so I don't even want to blame her for it or whatever. But how do you not know your kid getting stuck with a damn cigarette over and over again, and you sitting there? So yes, I'm gonna take that back. I am blaming her. I want to call her some choice names in that moment right there, but I'm gonna not do that. But anyways, you're able to sit around and stick a cigarette to your kid's leg or whatever, and as a mom, that you see that. They took her kids and gave them back to her, but ready to fight me and take mine on because I said I would have to talk to God before I give my kids any of those medications. You mad. But okay. Yeah, the system is super duper crazy. Um, Look, my daughter about to be 37. This girl ain't fooling me. Alrighty then. And there you have it. She not fooling. But see, Miss Coffee, you know I'm playing catch up. Like I'm looking at all of that. But definitely, I don't like the feeling of confusion. And so everything about them, even his mama, them give me the vibe of confusion. The only people that I really didn't feel like confusion was coming from was the lady, um, the lady with the E that was up there on the panel, and then I'm trying. Queen, the other lady name was Queen, which they taking care of one of the guy's other kids or whatever. I ain't feel like a confusion vibe coming from them until they start coming to those things where the paperwork came in the way. Um, right, I think it's a publicity stunt to especially for the rap career. Child, please, and her rap career just took a nosedive right on it because these people ain't gonna. These people ain't, and they say any attention is good attention. Um, no, no, it's not. Okay, then I wrote down. I just heard her say on Nick at Night channel that, uh, ooh, yeah, this the part where she said that nigga shoulda went on to Gloria about her kid's father. At this point, my head is exploding. I even wrote that down. That my head was exploding when she said, I did hear her say she never had a man on her lease. Not that a man didn't live with her. That's another thing I wrote. I talked about it already. I also feel she's very young. And this the part right here where I tried to give her a little bit of grace because of her age or whatever. I said I also feel she's very young, and young people say a lot of things that they don't mean. Um, yeah. So what I got out of this is a whole bunch of headaches, and I don't know if I will ever. Oh, Miss Coffee, I'm officially gonna steal that right there, cause honey, that what you just said right there, I'm getting. Even though I ain't talking about it right there, and I keep letting like little increments of what's going on without saying a whole bunch of anything. But that's the same actions I want. Make your mouth match your feet. I like that, Miss Coffee. Please do make it as fast as that mouth run. Make your feet matching and run on the hill up out of here. But I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back and be checking for a Amora Lex ever again, because I don't want to feel the confusion that I felt in this story. I don't want to feel all the triggers that I felt in this story. I know nothing. I just and then oh gosh, when the boy mama come in, it was like they were trying to make it feel like the boy mama was not listening to the show yesterday. The devil is a liar. The lady was like, "Oh, I'm talking. I'm telling her, yeah, no." It was a whole bunch of stuff going on, but anyways, it was even though it was ups and downs in there, and I say ups and downs because Amora Lex was coming in and out as she did. I appreciate that she came back and forth a couple of times, especially when we thought that she was running from the situation. I appreciate I appreciate that. I appreciate them for letting me up on the panel, speak on this situation and everything. But I don't think I'll ever be looking up any more information on this. I would like to look down further down the line and find out that she done something with her life, and maybe talking about her story in a different way when she ready to tell all of the truth, and good, bad, or ugly, and doing something different, because the same way negatives can sometimes help your page grow. Um, are you gonna be willing to do the negative every single day? I think in everything it has to be a balance. Because what if you do all of the hoopla, the negative and stuff, and everybody's coming over for that? Damn, what happens when those days come when you want to calm down and you just want to be in those peaceful places or whatever? So Yeah, I don't think I'll be looking her story up no time soon, because I don't want to feel none of that confusion or whatever. Yeah, but if she do come up in some other surprise way, I'm just saying I ain't going looking for it. If she happen to come through my timeline or whatever, I might click on it or whatever. But child, I don't know. But had my mind all kinds of all over the place, and I don't like situations that have my mind like so crazy. But I actually, the question that I went up and asked, I absolutely wanted to know, what you do about that, because I can see the hurt in my kids. In my kids' eyes, I can see the search where they still right now to this day they running after their mom, and then not so much as the daddy, I don't know, but to me, I feel like there has been times when they've reached out to him in different ways or whatever, and they didn't, when they don't get what it is that they looking for, they, it's just like the kids don't know how to give up on it. So I hope whatever her kids is looking for, and being that it's a generational curse, I hope she's able to turn this around and able to show them, so that it outweighs what they'll be able to see on the internet later on. Miss Calvin, you crazy. I'm gonna click looking for Carmen. And actually, Miss Calvin, that's so funny, because let me show you what as up. Okay, let me show you. Okay, my little books or whatever. Let me cover up the name that's on here, because I ain't trying to dox nobody. And we these actually our real notebook. Okay, see these my notes and stuff, right? And I probably still showed y'all the name, but um, y'all don't be trying to dox nobody. um, I'm trying to go through my notes, because I know literally what. Look, this is what I'm talking about right here, Miss Coffee. You see that? Karma, forgiveness, and karma. As soon as I say that, then here you go right in the thing looking for karma. Yeah, Lord. So I literally saw that when then you write it in the chat. So I'm like, the only thing that I really want to hear from her is like, there came a way to like change this around and do something different. And I don't know, girl, I ain't got no answers for you how you gonna do that, but I know what you got in front of you is you got one hell of a job, because you came on the internet and said to the world, F them kids, and I don't want them kids. And so from that point, I'm gonna send a prayer for healing for you and your family in this situation. And if your intent was to make money by doing something in this way, may all of your endeavors fail, not win, when you trying to do it the wrong way. But if you go about it doing the right way, I wish you all the success, Amora Lex. Child, I was thinking Camorally right then. That's a whole nother situation. But anyways, if you're trying to do it in the right way, I support you 100% in turning your life around and doing something different. But when you talk about doing it the wrong way, I pray and I hope that it doesn't work out for you, as long as you're trying to do it the wrong way. So, and I always say, anytime you pray for somebody or whatever, may you receive it back tenfold. And I pray the same thing. If I was doing something wrong that was not in the right way, I wouldn't be expecting for it to be blessed. And so I ain't gonna sit here and pretend like just because she trying to come up. I don't care how you trying to come up. There's a right and a wrong way to do. Like he said, there's a right and a wrong way to love. So there's a right and a wrong way to do everything. You know, and if you're doing it in the right way, then I wish you much success in that. And may I also pray that her actual words does not penetrate the hearts of her kids. I ask that God protect her kids' hearts. Don't let them have times when they feel like they're not worthy of being loved and everything. All of the things that I know that I tried to fight for my kids. And You know, oh, one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Nick at Night, I think she received the cease and assist. But honey child, by then my mind was so overwhelmed with all that I had heard, I couldn't even stick around to find out what the cease and assist were about. But it was one other thing that Nick at Night said that I must leave. I must talk about that before I leave. Alex mama is going after Nick at Night from the best way that I can um, think of it happening. Because again, I told y'all that I didn't watch the whole thing. But Nick at Night, the lady is telling Neek to shut up or whatever, and she also in the mind frame of Neek should shut up and respect her elders. Oh Lord! And Neek spoke on it and said that a lot of people have these notions that, and it's the same mentality that kept all of us that's been through great SA and all of this here kind of stuff. And one of the lines that I hated with a passion is what go on in this house stays in this house. Goes right along with this same line. You respect your elders. Which meant to me back in the days that all of these elders that's around here touching me, putting their hands in my pants and stuff, I have to respect them. And when Neek was talking last night, I felt every fiber of my being. I do believe in, and I tell y'all, they don't have to be an elderly person or no nothing. When I walk up in the room, I show up in the room with respect. But I can tell you, if there is a disrespect, and according to what the disrespect is, the elderly person is going to know that I feel disrespected. Because if they don't know that you've been disrespected, then that means you're probably putting on a show or you're pretending to be in a position that you're not really in, which means like you got a smile on your face or you're pretending like it didn't happen or no none of that. Look, I done been in situations where uh, elderly lady said to me that my kids don't have any home training because my 2-year old picked up a toy off the floor and put it in his mouth. Said that he didn't have no home training. So yeah, that offended me. But did I go back and forth with the old lady because she said that? I kind of looked at her and I gave her a look that let her know. Don't push it, Granny. Don't push it. Leave it alone. But to me, an elderly person being able to say something to you or do whatever it is to you and still demand that you give them respect is BS, capital BS to me. There's also a place in the Bible that says to you, yeah, you're over your kids and everything, but it also says that, it says the part where children obey your parents, but a lot of times people skip over that part because there's verses before then and after then. People don't like to get it. They love to throw those one things out the chest, tied you with the one part of it. No, baby, I need you to go back and read the whole, the whole thing. Let's go back because where it says kids respect your parents and everything. There's also a place in there that says parents don't anger your children. So you can take that little Bible verse right there and you can know that when Neek said that, I absolutely 100% agree with her that I don't rock by I don't rock by those vibes, honey. If an old person come up in there and according to what energy they giving to me, you might get it back. And that's not my intentions to show up and be nasty and rude to no elderly person. Nope, but I'm not gonna stand there with a smile on my face while you disrespect me. Now that lady came on her panel and now she's saying all that she was saying to her. And I think Neek stood her ground um as to where that goes. But I think in this lifetime, we've been taught to. Neek said she feel like it come from um, during like the slavery times, wherever, when you ain't have no choice or whatever. But honey, we long ago moved from those things, and I think if we around here teaching our kids that the elderly people, the older people can disrespect us, and then you just have to stand there and take it, and you accept their disrespect. I'm not saying that you have to cuss an elderly person out, but there's a correct reaction you can give everybody, and sometimes you don't have to say nothing. Like I said, I didn't say anything. I gave a look, and sometimes you can get them look just like your kids understand the sign language of a look when you give to them. Child, they understand too. And when they don't understand that part, then maybe you do need to open up your mouth and let it be known. But I don't believe in that disrespect thing. That I believe all people should lead with respect, so then you can expect it in return. Even that's one thing. Even though I didn't feel like I was respected a lot, but that was something that my mom told me. Even when I had my first son, my mom said, "Go figure." She'll tell me, if he gives you something, tell him thank you. I was like, tell him thank you for what? She was like, because kids like respect, just like adults do. And those kinds of things, like sometimes when my mama said them, they went over my head because you're telling me that, but it's not what you gave to me. But sometimes, when parents, you're not a parent and you become a grandparent, you start to understand things in a different way. Because though I don't have the best relationship with my mom, the relationship she had with my kids don't know nothing about the mom that I knew. A parent become a different person. When the grandkids come along, they give them a second chance to do things a whole different way. That's their chance at redemption. So my kids absolutely love and adore my mom, and but that was one of the things that she said to me, and I didn't receive it well from her because that's not the example she showed me. So I almost thought like she was being a hypocrite by saying that. But even though she didn't show those actions or whatever to me, um, it still is true what she said to me. And I received it, Mom. I absolutely received it. But you all, we done been on here almost 2 hours talking about this confusion that we all ended up in. But it was good to, I mean, it was lit up yesterday about this situation. But you all, I thank you again for joining me again on this day that we not out in the we not out in the garden. I can't even imagine, like, it's gonna be so pretty when we go out there. It's been raining here in Florida every single day, almost all day, and it ain't raining today. But today I don't feel like it. Just being honest, or whatever. But while we here, what I am going to show y'all is I'm going to show y'all what the garden on the inside looking like, and then we gonna end with that right there. And then Miss Coffee, tell me what you think about what the plants look like. Cause honey, I done burnt up some of them. Some of them look like some of them done shriveled all the way to the ground and everything. But you know, we learning. Okay. But over here where we are the high class gardeners, we be trying to grow some stuff all the time. So y'all look at what we got going on here. Some of it look good, and some of y'all see my grow light situation. So I don't know. I clipped some of them down today or whatever. I think I was burning them up with the light. They didn't have no airflow, but let me show y'all what I did. Some of them with it's supposed to have two in each one, but some of them got burnt up, so I put more seeds into the ground. Remember, I told y'all I kept some extra seeds or whatever. So I don't know how it's gonna do. Now let me show y'all one of the things I'm talking about. Y'all see that right there? Let me see this one back here in the back. That one right there. Child, y'all see that one looking all shriveled up and everything? Yes, it ain't had the best of time, but we you know, we still trying to grow, child. We trying to grow. So and I feel like as long as I'm trying, then I'm doing good. I know how to do this. I know how to do the stuff outside for the most part. And oh y'all too, I cheated on another thing. My kids wanted to harvest potatoes, so they harvested the potato bin. We got a bin, we have a bin of potatoes now. So they harvested some other things, and my husband made a mistake and mixed the other potatoes in with it. So, honey child, we just gonna have to show what potato harvest we got for all of the different things, because now they done mixed everything up together. So long we got potatoes, y'all. We got potatoes. So I don't know, but that's our little grow life situation over there. And I'm trying to learn how to do that too, because I want to learn the different ways that I can grow stuff. So then there's no excuses as why we not growing. So over here we the high class gardeners, and that just means we make sure we growing something at all times of the year, whether it's in a windowsill, whether it's in the house and up under the grow light, whatever. We make sure we growing something. But the high class part just means we don't mess around with no snakes, no bugs, and no worms, and we don't mess around with none of that stuff in real life. But what we do is we take the stuff that we growing out in our garden and we tie it to our real life situations, and we watch them grow together. Real life situations and our plants grow together. If you interested in doing that and you interested in growing, come over here and hang out with the high class gardeners every now and then. And you all, I'm just gonna say thank you for coming over and spending your time with me, because you could have been anywhere else over here on the YouTube, but you decided to come over here and spend it with me. And for that, I appreciate you. I've had to repot everything but peppers. Ooh, that's not. Hey, Sherry Shay. Severe old Sarah old water. I thought your water. You water every day. Hell, I drink water every day. I drink what Chinese coffee. I be trying to get it in every single day. But yeah, y'all, that's our day today. And if y'all find something else about this situation, we can chat about it a little bit. I'm just telling y'all, I ain't going to look for no more of it, because that's like looking for confusion. Amora Lex, we wish you all the best, but we ain't looking for you no more, girl. And keep them babies safe. That's what you do. You got a pile of dirt in the floor, like, Miss Coffee, you about worse than me. My husband would be like, "Why you bringing that up in here?" I ain't bringing the whole thing. So I be out in the yard working forever in the day, and then I bring the garden back inside with me. So now I'm out in the shed where I don't have to have no questions or no none of that. Don't come in here and question me why I'm doing something this way. I want to do it like this. But I hope nothing start growing. It might start growing right there in the middle of the floor, right there in the middle of the floor, right there. But if it do start growing, you better take it out of there and repot it. You know how them seeds be left in there. You don't be remembering what I had planted in there. If it start growing, just repot it, Miss Miss Coffee, repot it. But all right, y'all, we gonna get out of here. I appreciate y'all for coming through, and send some prayers up for them kids over there if you got it in you, and prayers up to everybody in here that you may have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day. Um, and until the next time, see y'all later.